where does your generation go? Like after college, you know, where do they decide what's going to make them happy? What's going, like for you, if you didn't have TikTok, if you didn't have this social media thing, I mean, your generation's brilliant when it comes to making money on the internet and what they have accomplished. There's going to be more millionaires in Gen Z generation, I think, than we've ever seen before. And I'm amazed at how the drop shipping and that they've been able to figure out how to make the lifestyle work for them, where they can stay at home, you know, whether that was a pandemic that like really accelerated that process. But then I also see that your generation is stuck on the internet, which like you said before, can be very, very lonely. So it's like, if you're not going to get on the internet and you're not going to make money, what happens? For us, like we were career planning, you know, after school, and like we were, okay, what do you want to do? And it was, for me, it was business and marketing and traditional role. And you get a job at a Fortune 500 company and you go and you work 9 to 5 and then you come home and you, like it was very structured. But for your generation, I just feel like there's so many different options. How do you know which one to go? And like, what are your friends doing? How are they deciding like which path is right for them?
Well, I 100% agree with you that I do think that my generation today is very different in terms of work, and it's not the typical 9 to 5 anymore. And that I think a lot of people, how you said, are figuring out ways to work from home, to do social media, do advertising, stuff like that, drop shipping to make money. And I don't think a lot of people are planning on doing like the career, like you do a life of career. I don't think a lot of people are doing that as much in my generation. And I don't know if it's necessarily they're not considering the future in that aspect. I mean, I consider that. I'm like, well, what if this doesn't work out? Well, I'm going to have to build a career. Well, I'm going to have to figure out where I'm going to take that. But I did go to college. I did get my degree. And I think that's actually another aspect. Sorry, not to veer off, but I think for a while that my generation, we were taught you go to college, and that's what you need to do. But if you are going to college and you don't know what you want to do, I'm just going to put it blunt, you're racking up all this debt and you don't even know what you want to do with your life.
Just setting money on fire.
So I think that actually contributes to a lot of people not knowing, because I think, oh, well, you go to college, you figure it out when you get there. Well, that's a lot of money that's being spent that you don't have yet. So,
and are you really using that education? Are you really using that degree to learn how to drop ship? They're not, I think education is, I'll give you an example. I mean, my nephew is 9 years old and he just failed this spelling bee and he was devastated, right? So my brother calls me and he's like, oh my gosh, my nephew is devastated about this spelling bee. And, but his point was, he tried to calm him down, right? He's like, look, this doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. Like, it's just a spelling bee. But then we got into the discussion of education and college and being 10, 15, maybe 20 years out of date. That we don't even pull out, like, we don't need math anymore. We don't use that as a technology. Like, we have our calculators. So why do we need to be taking all these classes? Like, and that's why I think your generation is waking up to, you're going to ask me to pay $100,000 for a degree that I am never going to use and come out with a whole bunch of debt. And education needs to catch up with the times. Like, fine, come out with a specialized degree or a trade school that is based off of drop shipping or that's based off of something where you can actually, like a trade and on the internet. I don't know. That's just, I found that to be really fascinating because I hadn't really thought about the fact that your generation is being robbed because you're giving old school techniques to potentially go into a career that you're not happy with. Now, the other side of that is that older generations and my baby boomers and millennials and, they're looking at your generation going, well, they're just lazy. They're just... That's
actually a common thing that people say.
Yeah. So like, how does that make you feel? And like, do you think there are some people in your generation that are lazy? Or do you think that there are some people they're just smart and that they're using their time wisely and putting their money to work?
Well, I can't, speak on everybody, but I would say that there's both ends there, that maybe some people are lazy, but then there's also the aspect some people are just smart and realizing how to best use their time and make the most value of their time the best they can. So I think that definitely
What do you think will happen, though, to society if a whole generation that's coming into the workforce wants to retire by 40?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's what they're trying to figure out.
Is it even... It's an idea that I've been playing with for a while now, is that do we even have the right to impose this concept on Gen Z of you guys need to come into the workforce and support the economy and pay for Social Security that you're never going to see ever? I'm just going to tell you that. Sorry. You'll never see Social Security. I probably won't even see Social Security. Is it fair for us to put those things on you guys and demand that from you? And the reason we don't think you're an ambassador for your generation, we don't think you know everything.
I was like, I hope I'm not. I'm not speaking for everybody here. This is just my thoughts. And the reason
we're asking is because everybody's asking, like, what's happening with Gen Z and how can we help? I feel like you guys probably have so much advice being thrown at you from every direction. And it's old people that say, go to college and you'll get a great education. And there's people saying, get married, you'll be happy, or never get married, it's hell. And you have so much competing advice thrown at you all the time. For anybody who's 30 or over, how can we help? Is it to just shut up and get out of your way? Is it to let you come to us? What do you guys need from us?
Honestly, probably, I think one thing that my generation could be good at or should get better at is coming to people for help. Know when you need help. Know when you need to ask for help. So,
what makes it easier for you guys? What would make that easier for people who are 30 and over?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think we all need to figure that out, our generations. I mean, I'm 38, almost 40 now, and I've got kids who are going to be the next generation after you. I don't know how to help them yet.
Yeah.
I can love them.
I'm not gonna lie, I say that too because I don't want kids anytime soon, but eventually, I might have some. And I always think, well, what's the world gonna be like then? It's gonna be completely different, and I can't. I'm trying not to say a curse word. Totally it's fine. Going. The world's going.
To hell.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I don't want to bring a life in and not know how to help them and then be just screwed.